I did it again, didn't I? That's why I have these. Probably should stop drinking coffee when I'm making these videos, but I like coffee and this is my favorite mug. So if you've been on BlueSky, you've seen it shouldn't have to happen to you for it to matter to you. That's good words to live by. Hi everyone, welcome to Shelf Control. I'm Norm, and today I'm going to do kind of a thrift store haul, but it's really kind of a McKay's road trip part 2. So my cousin contacted me and told me that he had a job to do out in the Nashville area and asked if I wanted to tag along and we could hit some McKay's on the way out there. And I was like, sure, I'm not going to turn down the opportunity to go to another McKay's. If you've seen any of these videos, you know how much I love McKay's. And yeah, so I jumped in his car and went on the trip. As a little bit of a prelude to it, I only had a little bit of store credit left. So I grabbed up a couple of the games that we decided we're going to leave our collection, along with some books and some records. I decided to take them to Mebane. I hadn't been to Mebane this month, so I like to hit Mebane a couple times a month. So I was like, this is a perfect opportunity. I can turn in some stuff, get some more store credit in preparation for the trip. And so I went out to Mebane and browsed their stuff and was able to make it out of there with some credit. And I didn't walk out with anything. Nothing caught my eye that day. And so I had some fresh credit in my pocket. But then the day before heading out on the trip, I was like, you know what? I need to hit the Winston-Salem McKay's again, just to see what they got, since I was going to be gone the end of that week, and I like to hit the Winston-Salem McKay's about twice a week, so because that's closer to where I'm located. And so I went in there, and it was kind of bittersweet because I did find something that I wanted to pick up, and it was bittersweet because I didn't want to use my credit because I was using that credit for the trip, but then again, I found something that I really wanted. So I picked it up. What I found, it's not board game related, but I still think it's a pretty good find. They had the Absolute Sandman hardcovers in a slipcase, volumes 1 and volume 2, and these are books that I've wanted to read. I've heard good things about his Sandman series, and I just never picked them up. They're kind of expensive because they're quite sought after stories. But they had these at the Winston-Salem McKay's, and they were $30 each. So that seemed like a pretty good value. They have the trade paperbacks there for around $10 each, and I think each of these probably holds 3 or more of those trade paperbacks, so it seemed worth the $30 to get the hardcover. And this speaks to one of the reasons why I like McKay's so much, because if you're aware, Neil Gaiman has had some accusations made against him.
Allegedly.
McKay's allows you to have access to some of those troublesome creators without putting the money in the pockets of those creators. These are recycled, so the money is going to McKay's instead of Neil Gaiman. And there's a number of things that I've gotten from McKay's that I've gotten book-wise because I didn't want to get a new copy and give the author some of my money. If you've seen my past video about can you separate the art from the artist, used bookstores like McKay's is a great way to separate the art from the artist, because you can just enjoy the story without wondering what's your money being used for by the creator. So that's enough on that. These aren't board game related, but I thought they were pretty good finds. And so that used up $60 of my credit before I even went on the trip. It's kind of turning into 50th anniversary McKay's Road Trip Part 2, because I hit Mebane and Winston-Salem the 2 days previous, and then headed out to Tennessee. And so our first stop was in Knoxville. And if you watched our video talking about the 50th road trip, and you know that it was really hot, and Knoxville just got slammed with people because you had the people coming from this way and you got the people coming from this way just meeting in the middle right at the same time, and the lines were huge. And so we were waiting in line, and some people were starting to faint out. They didn't come prepared with water, and so the fire department was called out, was giving people IVs and things like that. And eventually, they just called it off. They told everyone to just go on to your next location, whether that was heading that way or heading that way. And just when you get to your next stop, you get 2 stamps, one for Knoxville, one for the place that you just went to. And so we left Knoxville and headed back to Winston, because we started in Nashville and was heading that way. And so when we got to Winston-Salem, they gave us the 2 stamps. And they when we got to Winston, I think it was like 10:30 at night. So they went ahead and gave us the Mebane stamp as well. So we got 3 stamps at Winston-Salem, and they just gave us all the rewards for hitting all 5 that day. It was really great way they handled that. And the people, even though they were hot and bothered, the people in line were great. But anyways, that meant that I had a passport that did not have a Knoxville stamp. The day after the 50th, we went to Mebane, and we went ahead and got a Mebane stamp just for a completionist. This is me and my wife's copy here. So we have, for Mebane, we both have a Winston-Salem and a Mebane stamp in it, but we didn't have a Knoxville stamp. So I was like, I'm going to bring these with me and see if they still have those stamps. And to my surprise, they totally did. And so we now have Knoxville stamps in our passport. Our passports are complete with each of the unique stamps. So it's not much, but I'm glad we have these. And I'm glad they held on to their stamp. And the guy seemed pretty stoked to stamp passports. While I was there at Knoxville, I found they had a copy of Mission Red Planet for $11.95, and this was a area control game that I've really been interested in trying, and it hasn't been easy to find. They're actually coming out with a new edition printing that the art goes away from this steampunk, and I really like steampunk as a theme, so I wasn't going to wait for the new printing. I'll get the steampunk version while it's $12, and when I got it back to our hotel room, I counted up the pieces, and it's missing one orange spaceman piece, but talking with people on Board Game Geek, that's not that big of a problem, because you're going to have astronauts die and you can just add an orange one back. Plus, it's got parts in here for 6 players. So if you're not playing with 6 players, just have someone not play orange, and you're fine. So I don't know. We'll see what solutions I can come up with. But I think this was great find for $12. So we were making pretty good time on our way to the job site in Nashville. So we decided let's hit the one in Chattanooga, and so we took the little detour down south to hit that McKay's. And when I got there, I found 2 things there. I found Ganchong Clever, or That's Pretty Clever, which is a kind of a roll and write, and it was $7.95. It was in shrink, new in shrink for $7.95. We played this at the hotel, so I opened it, so I don't have the shrink with the sticker on it anymore. But according to the receipt, it was $7.95. That seemed worth it to try, and we played this a couple times at the hotel and enjoyed it. And so that was Chattanooga. Another thing I found was the expansion to Excavation Earth. This one probably not as good a deal. It's $14.95, but from my understanding, these aren't sold retail unless the Kickstarter had a retail backer. And I've got Excavation Earth that I found at McKay's a while back and haven't played it yet. But this seemed like the kind of expansion that it's like if I left it on the shelf until I learned whether or not I liked the base game, I'm not going to go back and find this on the shelf, especially going to Chattanooga. I'm not nearby, and I don't get out there very often. So I went ahead and grabbed this at $14.95. It adds a couple new alien races and a couple modules that go in the game. So we'll see what we think of this and whether or not that was a good deal. At Chattanooga, I thought it was really interesting that they had these Sony cameras that I don't know what model they were. They were really busy when we were there, and there were a lot of people looking at the cameras and electronics through the glass. So I kind of wanted to Google and see what they were, because they were $1,400, and that was surprising. They had 3 of them there. So I don't know if you're in the market for a high-end camera. It seems like Chattanooga, McKay's has Sony's for you. So then we went to the Nashville store and was wandering around, and there really wasn't anything there that I was interested in. One thing that I thought was cool was, I guess because it's Nashville, because it's Tennessee, there's a lot of the sound equipment there, and so there seemed to be a whole lot more electronics at the Tennessee stores than what you find at the North Carolina stores. So it was really neat browsing that, but I didn't find any games that I was interested in. And so we then just spent the weekend playing games at the hotel. Before we left Sunday, one of the guys from the job site, he like went with us for lunch, and it was like, hey, we're in the neighborhood, let's hit the McKay's in Nashville again. And I wasn't expecting much, but you know, it does change what you find every day there. And this guy was interested in checking out the McKay's because he wasn't from the area either. And so we went to McKay's, and it wasn't quite as busy this time, and so I was able to look for some books that Lisa had been looking for, and I found 3 of those. And so I picked those up. But then on the shelf, they had a copy of Junk Art with the wooden pieces, not plastic, for $9.95, and that seemed like a pretty good deal. Other than Pitch Car, I really don't have dexterity type games, and so I thought this one might be something worth trying. And for $10, I picked it up. So we'll see what we think of that. And so we started heading home Monday, and we decided not to make the detour to Chattanooga again, but we decided if we were making good time, we'd stop at Knoxville again, because with one day there was a new game on the shelf that I was interested in. So you know, who knows what Knoxville had. So we went back to Knoxville and was walking around. Didn't find any of the books that Lisa was looking for, but they did have a copy of Caper Europe, the Mastermind edition, and this was $30. Looking online, I don't know that that $30 is a great deal, except that this was available Kickstarter, and the only places that I found that had this in stock were eBay and Noble Knight, which sells used copies of games, and Noble Knight was selling it for like $150, and eBay was selling it for like $90. You know, I don't know. The places that had it listed but out of stock were selling it for $40, 40 bucks. So 30 is probably about what you would pay for it new. It's just, I don't think it's in print anymore. And it's a two-player game that I've been interested in finding. And so 30 bucks is probably more than I would have paid if it was just the retail copy. But since it was the Mastermind edition with the insert and wooden components and metal coins, I figured I'll go ahead and splurge and do the 30 bucks. By this time, all my credit was gone with this other stuff, so I actually paid $30 cash for this one. But I'm hoping that it's as fun as people say it is. Been looking for some good two-player games, so we'll see how that goes. Yeah, so that's my McKay's Roadtrip 2.0 with my passports complete. I can finally say that I've got everything done and picked up some stuff on the way. Maybe not fantastic deals, but good enough deals for me. And I hit another 5 McKay's in a row. It wasn't all in the same day, but it was pretty close. What are your thoughts on these games? Are these good deals? Did I pay too much for some of them? What are your thoughts on used bookstores for some of your troublesome creators? I'm a big fan of the reusing instead of recycling, so McKay's is one of my go-tos. Anyways, I'm sure I'll be back with some more things I find. I might do a top finds of the year for last year because I found some really great deals. So stay tuned for that, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.